এটার লেগে তো মানে শান্ত একটা জায়গা বা খেলতে হবে নাকি? নাহলে মাঠটা
ডিস্টেন্স সরে গেল।
And it went straight to him, and for some reason he didn't gather cleanly. The batsman ran through for one.
Didn't get his body automatically right behind the line of the ball, and on those practice areas the ball would tend to skate off a little bit more.
A new delivery here from Imran Khan, bowling this time to Shamar Brooks. That's the end of the over. No run at the end of for the last ball there. At the end of that, I'll tell you about that in a short while. But obviously, an over in which there was a little bit of a challenge in relation to how the wicketkeeper and the captain dealt with that decision by the umpire to call wide. 48 for 1 at the end of 12. 48 for 1 at the end of 12. They're scoring at 4 even and over. Shamar Brooks on 1. Justin Graves on 30.
Kyron Pollard pulling up pull run there for his fielding performance. I think what he was trying to say is that you got to be able to still keep the pressure on the fielders at all the time. Pollard apologizing and saying sorry, Skip, saying you can't be sorry in this place. You know, you're a leader, so you have to continue to lead. 48 for 1, and the pressure is being employed now on Shamar Brooks as Pollard goes to silly point.
Indeed, here comes Akil Hussain bowling now to Brooks, and Brooks is forward. Bat and pad close. Sorry, that's Justin Graves that comes forward. Bat and pad close together. There is no run. So under the helmet is Captain Kyron Pollard, who really wants to tell the batsman, make the batsman know that he's here and he is directing traffic. And certainly that's a psychological advantage that he's seeking to get. Here comes Akil Hussain bowling to Graves and forward defensive, but you could see him making a concerted effort to make sure that there's no chance for Captain Pollard under the helmet there. Just making sure that he smothers the ball, gets right to the pitch of it, plays it under his eyes. Forward defensive, no run. 48 for 1. 48 for 1, and Hussain has been impressive in this his second spell. His first 2 overs were pretty expensive for his liking. His second spell has been quite extraordinary. Here he comes, bowls, and this one forward defensive comes Justin Graves again. No opportunity there being presented by Akil Hussain for those elaborate, exquisite off drives. Just very nicely lined and very good length.
But the thing about the field placing here is that Pollard standing run at short extra cover, it forces Justin Graves not to have to think about playing a cover drive, and Pollard wants him to play a cover drive with the flighted delivery from Hussain.
There is protection, by the way, on the cover boundary as well. There's a long off. Here comes Akil Hussain up to the wicket to bowl to Graves, and this one flighted and punched through the covers, but there is protection, as we said. They look for the second, they come back for the second. Good running by Justin Graves and Shamar Brooks. So he played it very nicely through the covers, and in the end, the fielder on the cover boundary had to just run a little bit to his right, and the batsmen were alert to the fact that there was an opportunity for them to get a second run, and they came back very, very well indeed. So good running there by the 2 players. Here comes Akil Hussain with the bowling out of Justin Graves, who moves on to 32. The score, and the 50 is up for the Barbados Pride. 50 for 1, and this one is turned, just opening the face of the bat, turning it to point. There is no run. That's 1 ball, actually 2 deliveries left in this over. 50 for 1. Actually 1. Should be 1. The scoreboard hasn't. Yeah, it's 1. The scoreboard took a little time to change over. 50 for 1. The Barbados Pride. Akil Hussain with Captain Pollard under the helmet at a silly point, still in off position. Here comes Hussain up to the wicket and bowls, and this one is driven nicely down to extra cover. There is no run. That's the end of the over. At the end of over number 13, the Barbados Pride are 50 for 1 after having been asked to bat by the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force. Shamar Brooks on 1. He'll be taking strike in the next over. Justin Graves on 32.
This is a testing time for Justin Graves, and is when he comes forward to drive the ball, he's not staying low enough. And so even that delivery that he drove to Puran is in more or less a standing up position. He's got to get as low as possible to play the ball from under his eyes, and Pollard is going to make him think, and he has to be able to fight through this period. This is what, if you want to play at the next level, you have to keep working on.
Here's Imran Khan bowls, and off the back foot, punching it through the covers is Shamar Brooks, but there is protection on the cover boundary. They get 1 run. Shamar Brooks moving on to 2. The score 51 for 1. Both batsmen have showed the proclivity to drive through the offside, and they've driven beautifully as well through the offside. So that explains why there's a very strong offside field for both, especially Justin Graves. He certainly showed that. Here is facing up to Akil Hussain, and this one on the middle stump. Sorry, not Akil Hussain, Imran Khan punching it down to long on. They get one run. So turning over the strike now, and the batsmen realizing that even if there is not an opportunity for big exquisite drives for four, they can certainly turn around and get ones and twos. And that's what they're doing here. Shamar Brooks comes back into the strike. 52 for one. This is the 14th over. He's facing up to Imran Khan from this.
ই করলাম জাস্ট